Good morning. Today is Sunday, March 30th, 2025. And this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast, looking at where Bitcoin went in the last week and where it could potentially go in the future. So this is the end of the quarter pretty much. So last week was the last full week of the quarter of Q1 of 2025. And now we're about to move into Q2. So Monday will be the 31st. That'll be the last official business day of the quarter for this year. And it's been an interesting one for sure. I mean, all the way from the start of the year to the inauguration, and then to just February, which was just a bloodbath for crypto, and really, I mean, most of the stock market too. Um, Maybe we'll talk about that next week. Is the stock market? Maybe that'll be a different video. But we're in very interesting times. It seems like a lot of things are in free fall, but I don't think that's going to be the case here, and I'll explain why a little bit later. So the month of March was really indecisive. It was just it went up, it went down, and it just kind of stayed where it opened right here and it closed. It's probably going to close somewhere right here and here, somewhere in the middle, right? It's probably not going to shoot all the way up or shoot all the way down tomorrow off of any news, or we'll see, right? But as for right now, it is an indecisive month, so it didn't really go anywhere. So it's ranging. That tells me that we've reached some type of kind of bottom, right? And we'll draw those lines a little bit later. But right now, we've really cleaned up all the imbalance here. So you see like this green area, that's considered imbalance. Like this is a place where price shot off, but never pulled back to. So at this point, it has pulled back to, let's say, about 80% of it. So that's pretty good. Like worst case scenario, it goes down to like 73. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think that's going to be the case for real. Yeah, we're just at a point where it does not make sense to go that low anymore. The weekly chart. So I'll move on to that. We had our big kind of bull flag here, and then it shot off. There's really like another bull flag here, but this one's a lot steeper than this one was. Like this is a much steeper bull flag. Maybe I'll draw that a little bit later. That's kind of cool. So it came down to really this 50-week moving average, this white line right here. So the white line was tracking, and then it finally touched one more time. It barely tapped it a couple weeks ago, and continued to go on up. So that 50-week moving average is strong, which means the 100 is even stronger. Which that sounds 63. That's not impossible at this point. It would probably stop somewhere around here ish. Again, that's the bottom of the imbalance. So about 74, 75, somewhere in there. Let's turn on the drawings. Again, here's your bull flag here. I want to take this and actually get rid of this. Again, you got a couple areas right here. You got your upward channel that price is moving in right here. You have your bull flag here. Again, it's up, down, up, down. You also have, I just got to go over this every time. So you have like your cycle tops, right? This is 2017, 2021, and then it could never break above this line. So I drew a line here, and we're kind of right there. We're at the top of this line. My theory is that we're going to break out of this line in a pretty steep way, and I'll show that in a little bit. So, and then you have a few key areas, right? So this is your long-term support going all the way back to here. This is just an area where price bounced off of, and even came back down to for a brief second. It was 50,000 at the top, and then it just absolutely shot off. This March of 2024 all-time high, I think it'll act as like the same thing, because this was a major area of resistance for a while. Let's see. So I think it could act as like some type of trampoline. And then also you have a lot of confluence here. So this very strong 50-week moving average, you have the bottom of this channel, and you have this March of 2024 support area. So I think this is the bounce, right? So you see it's already going up to some degree, and then that should continue. So what do we have here? Daily chart. Oh, this is what I was gonna do. Yeah, so we'll go back to the weekly chart. I'm gonna move this and make another one. But this time it's gonna be a lot steeper. It's gonna be a lot steeper. It's gonna be something like that. Yeah, so I think we have another bull flag here, where you come down. This one's just a lot steeper, so when it goes off, it's going to go much more vertical. Like you see, this one came down and then it just kind of bounded up this way. This one came straight down and then it comes up this way. So you're also at the bottom of this channel. Like if you follow this line all the way down here, it would hit here, Let's take a look. We can probably make it sharp on the daily chart. No, that's pretty good actually. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do this. Yeah, something like that. No, that's not it. Yeah, something in the realm of this. But anyway, like all I'm saying is this looks like a bull flag. Even if it comes down and touches here, so it'll touch the bottom of this channel. Again, this whole area is just a trampoline. It's going to be very difficult to get through on any time frame. Any time frame you look at. So even if it comes down here, that's fine. It ends up shooting back up and really ripping through this all-time high. So again, demand is increasing, supply is decreasing, and production rate is fixed. Like they're not making any more Bitcoin at this point. So at a faster rate, I should say. So again, about 450 Bitcoin they make a day, and people are buying a lot more than 450 Bitcoin a day. So that's really what it comes down to. Like they're buying more than is being produced. So at a certain point, you're going to get to where you run out, and we can probably predict that, but we'll do that math at another point. But that's really all in the chart. I mean, nothing crazy to talk about. Like this whole area is kind of rangy, not doing anything. So I could see it coming back down here before ripping up to the upside. That's fully possible. Let me see. Yeah, there's no news this week, really. I mean, we're going into a new quarter. You don't even have non-farm payroll, but like these are just kind of really it's employment heavy at the beginning of the month. Like, what was the change for employment? Job openings, all this type of stuff, and then you have Fed Chair Powell to speak at the end of the week. But really, the only news worth even looking at is non-farm payroll. Maybe I'll revisit that on Friday or something and just see how that looked. But that doesn't have too much bearing on Bitcoin, honestly, at this point. Much more bearing on things like currencies and whatnot. This is a guy on Twitter, Tech Dev. I've been following him for some time. Like he posts pretty good. It's solid technical information. And one thing he compares, and one thing I've been looking at since about 2023 was the liquidity cycles. And so basically, like he has some type of signal. So the 4 signals since Bitcoin has existed, and it's comparing Bitcoin's price to the liquidity cycle, which basically, I mean, you see these waves, right? Like these waves happen. What this is doing is essentially seeing how much money is in the market at any time. So when it's at a peak, there's a lot of money in the market and all assets are going high. As this number increases, the prices of everything kind of go up. So you see it's kind of the same thing here. You have like this kind of area of, I don't know, like it bottoms out pretty much, bottoms out here, bottoms out. It kind of makes that 2 taps and then it goes off to the upside. I think we're going to see the same thing going into 2026. So again, this is Bitcoin's price here. You see it's just kind of gone up and up and up over time. I think it's going to go up pretty hard on this one, especially with the demand here. So, this is right in line really with what the liquidity cycles like kind of predict with asset prices. So you see, again, he said there have been 4 signals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, when you see these green dots. So like this yellow period has ended, this bottomed out ranging period. And now you see, once you see the green, that's when you go off. And you see the green, that's when you go off. And then like it goes off. The political environment is much more favorable at this point. You're seeing a lot more big money flow in, including GameStop. We'll talk about GameStop in a second. But yeah, no, that's it really. So I think we're about to go up. I just wanted to highlight this one because I think it was a pretty cool chart. So your liquidity cycle and Bitcoin price. And then this is kind of like the chart that we look at, right? So from 2000, it just kind of makes, it's not perfect, but it makes these waves pretty much. And this is 2020, right? When we printed all this money. So there was a lot of liquidity in the market and asset prices rose, kind of afterwards and whatnot. But we're feeling the effects of that now. So I suspect that asset prices will rise again, right? So this is going into 2026. All right, well, maybe it peaks somewhere in early 2026. And then it's like, hey, that's the top. Let's go ahead and get out. Things are going to start dropping off again. But you see we're very much so on the up ramp here going into 2026. So that's the kind of overall thing there. Just looking at where you're at in the market cycle. All right. And then, like I said, we got to talk about Bitcoin. So back in February, I was talking about this. What date was that? That was about a month ago. February 27th, so end of the month. That's basically saying in early 2021, Bitcoin dropped off. Then GameStop exploded. Then Bitcoin went on the final leg of the bull run. 4 years later, Bitcoin, the chart looks familiar. So what I did here is I looked at 2021, right? And so this green chart is Bitcoin's price. So Bitcoin went up and down, But at a certain point in early 2021, it went down. Had this crazy downturn, but at the same time, GameStop was cooking. And then GameStop exploded, and there was there's a big credit and liquidity event, a big short squeeze, and at that point, Bitcoin kind of went on the final leg of the bull run. There was like a subsequent kind of explosion of the GameStop price too. So it was there were ripples afterwards, and that really kind of landed the bull market. I mean, that kind of ended your bull market for Bitcoin. Like it just kind of helped it to ride to the top. And then you end up seeing the same thing. This is 2025 in Bitcoin, right? So we ended up coming down here, and then like you had this huge 30% drop, or 24% drop. This was a 29% drop. It went even further than 82. So this is roughly equivalent. But also, GameStop is cooking. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. So the big thing is, well, there's a couple things. GameStop is the new MicroStrategy at this point. Like they're the second major company to adopt this strategy publicly, at least in their earnings release that they had, which was shattered, by the way. Like they absolutely shattered all expectations on the Q4 earnings. So shout out to GameStop for sure. The only other thing that they had was 1.3 billion. GameStop has pledged. The reason I have to talk about GameStop is because at this point they have pledged $1.3 billion to buying Bitcoin, essentially. In their earnings release, their statement, they were very forward about adopting a Bitcoin treasury and doing everything that they can to get as much Bitcoin as they can. You see Michael Saylor has been championing Bitcoin, well, actually GameStop, for a long time. Like ever since the earnings, right? So he has been very vocal since the earnings call. And GameStop and Bitcoin, I think they're going to go a long way. I really do. So I think that's it. I'm super bullish on GameStop at this point. I'm super bullish on Bitcoin. Now they're in tandem. They're working together. It's going to be a fun ride. I really do think this is going to be a fantastic ride for everyone involved. So I would definitely say look into both and consider them heavily. These are going to be for sure the ones that produce a lot of gains in the coming, not just this year, but 3 to 5 years too. So that's pretty much it. This has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out any crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com, and I will see y'all on the moon. Take care. Bye-bye.